So, as you guys can tell by the title of the video, unless you can't read, I'm going to be teaching you guys how to snipe on Modern Warfare. Now, obviously, I'm the best sniper on this game, so be sure to listen to the entire video if you want to actually learn how to get good at it. I know you guys are probably wondering why I'm making this video 4 months after the game is released, but honestly, it's just because I didn't want to make the video because I know a lot of other people were making something kind of similar to it, but I decided to make it because I got asked in my Twitch stream chat and in my comment section a ton. So I know there's obviously some things that I know about the game that I do and that some people might not know, and if I'm able to help you guys out with that, then I'm going to try to make this a quick and informative video just to get straight to the point instead of dragging it on and going like into full detail and stuff like that, and hopefully that'll still be able to get the point through and you guys can understand kind of where I'm going with this stuff and stuff like that. Getting straight into it though, the sniping on this game is way different from any other Call of Duty before. So if you've played any other Call of Duties besides Modern Warfare, then I think that you know that this game is definitely a lot different feeling from the other ones. It definitely can take a little bit of getting used to it, but I personally like the feel of it, honestly. Anyway, as you guys know, there is a sniper rifles category, and I'm going to be going over both the sniper rifles and the marksman rifles at the same time, kind of like showing you guys my class setups and stuff for that, but that's going to be at the later point of the video. Basically though, the sniper rifles are like the more boring. You got the Dragunov, which is a single fire and a little bit weaker. You got the HDR, which is super powerful but is a little bit slower, and then you have the AX50, which is kind of like the fair medium, honestly. Like, it's pretty quick, but it's also really powerful, but it can hit marker, so it's not the perfect gun. But at the same time, comparing the AX50 to the marksman rifles, the AX50 is way more powerful than all of these. So the trade-off with using one of the marksman rifles is the fact that it's going to be a lot quicker than the AX50 is. So you can go and run and gun easily, get straight up in the enemy's faces. My personal go-to for this game is going to be the marksman rifle category, because if you can run around with like a Kar 98K or an MK2 or something like that, that kind of fits my playstyle more, because I don't really like to sit at the back of the map and kind of just like take things slow. I like to get in the enemy's face and kind of just be like present. So, but then obviously if you go into ground war or something like that, you could definitely get by with a marksman rifle still, and it can work out really well, but the sniper rifles are probably going to be your better category for that one. Now, something else that they added to this game that's different from the other Call of Duties is the little white dot in the center of your screen right here. Now, even if I switch over to a red gun, it has it on it, but this helps out more mainly for snipers, in my personal opinion, than it does for the red guns. And the way that the little circle can actually benefit the snipers is with centering. And if you don't know what centering is, it's actually basically when you try to get the enemy in the middle of your screen before you go to shoot. So if somebody is running to the right, obviously I'll aim a little bit more to the right, like right there, even though I missed him. Okay, well, that's classic coming from me. What else do you expect from me? If you go like right in front of them like that, like this guy's going this way, you do that, like you just get the person in the center of your screen, and that little circle actually helps it out a lot more than you would expect it to. It's something that might not be necessary, but honestly it can be a game changer if you can get used to using it, because it's like if the person goes in the middle of your screen, that's obviously where you want them to be, because the little circle where you go to aim down sight, like every time you aim down sight, you are in the center of your screen. The best thing you can do is actually get the enemy in the middle of your screen before you go to aim down sight and kill them. Another thing with this game is that right now, obviously, I'm quick scoping, and like that can help out a lot with centering, which is kind of what you want to do mainly, but also drag scoping can actually help out a ton in this game too, especially with the aim assist in this game. And if you don't know what drag scoping is, it's basically where you drag your scope over top of the enemy. So if you go just to the side of them and then I drag onto them, like right here, I'm kind of aiming down sight and I'm centering, but then I'm also drag scoping sometimes. So like when I'm in my scope, I'm just dragging over top of the enemy to kill them. Now, my next tip for you guys is if you are running the tac laser attachment for your sniper rifles, just know that it, as you can see with the cons, the laser is actually visible to your enemies. So when you're aiming down sight, you can obviously see the little green mark on the container there. So it's just, you kind of want to avoid that if you're going to be hard scope in a corner waiting for an enemy to walk into you, because if you hard scope the corner, the enemy isn't going to want to walk into your scope because they know you're going to be looking there. What we want to try to do is hide the laser behind a wall and then try to scope in on top of them whenever they do peek that corner. And that's where drag scoping can come in handy as well. I'm sorry that I'm really bad at commentaries. I wish I was better. That's why I'm trying to do more videos like this to get better at doing commentaries. But it's weird to me because I can stream perfectly fine, but when I get to go and do a commentary, I kind of stutter over my words a lot. So if you see that in this video, then I do apologize for that, honestly. Soon, once I master the ability to talk properly and actually use English terms correctly. See right there, perfect example. I can't English for the life of me. Now, one of the last things I have to show you guys is actually my class setups, and it is something that I get asked a lot as well, so this is like perfect timing to throw it into this video. And I have a class setup for pretty much every single weapon. So I have one for the AX50, the SoaR 98K, the HDR, MK2, and I do have one for the Dragunov as well, which I will show you guys. The one that I don't really want to show you though is the EBR, because who really cares about the EBR? I mean, like, most people probably don't even care about the Dragunov to begin with, let alone an EBR out here. So this thing, I don't know, it's like, if you want to see the attachments I run on it, here it is. I don't even know if these are the perfect attachments to use for it. I'm just currently going for platinum camo still. I'm 4 months behind on doing that as well, so that just shows you I'm always late to my own streams. I'm late to getting platinum camo. I'm late to making this video. I don't know what else I could be late to possibly, but here I am. So anyway though, for the AX50, the attachments that I rock are on screen right now. I run the 17-inch barrel, and as I showed you before, it actually increases the aim down sight speed, increases the movement speed, but it also decreases that bullet velocity. So it obviously at a distance isn't really going to be the perfect one, and if you're in ground war, you might want to try out a 32-inch barrel. I haven't really tried out myself that much. I don't even play ground war that much myself, so I'm going to try the 32-inch barrel on it whenever I do try to go into ground war again. But what I usually rock with is the 17-inch barrel, just for that increased aim down sight speed. Now, another thing like I was talking about before is the tac laser actually increases the aim down sight speed, and let me just be honest with you, I don't understand how the fuck a tac laser, like a laser sight, is going to increase the aim down sight speed, aim stability, and walking steadiness. But you know what? It's Call of Duty. They're going for realism, and apparently that's real, so I'm just not even going to question it at this point. But the con, as you could tell, is that the laser is visible to the enemies. So like I said before, what you're going to want to do is if somebody's coming around a corner, you're going to want to put it on the side of the wall so they can't really see that laser and it's hidden from them. And then when they come around the corner, drag it on top of them, because 9 times out of 10 the enemy is not going to come around that corner if they see your green laser just sticking out, aiming down into that doorway. So just keep that in note right there. I actually don't run any type of optic on this either. Like, I know a lot of these are actually a lot of fun to use, and especially the VLK is actually pretty good, but in my personal preference, what I usually like to rock with is just a normal sniper scope that comes with this, so I leave that alone. And then I go for a Singuard Arms Assassin stock right here, which actually increases aim to sight speed as well. So as you could tell, what I personally go for is the attachments that increase aim down sight speed, because I don't really need movement walking speed. I don't need aim stability. Like, I don't know, my personal preference is to just get my scope up as fast as I possibly can to be able to shoot the enemies as fast as I can. Now, I know a lot of other people actually run different setups from what I do. Like, they usually run those first 3, but then the last 2 are kind of different. And I actually decided, like, I used to mess around with the attachments I run on these guns and stuff like that, and I actually decided that I do like the 9-round mags the most, especially when it comes to how like smooth it is to bring the weapon up. I don't know, like, if you take off the ammunition and then you put on a stipple grip tape, I feel like it makes it almost a little bit too quick. So like, there's that balancing factor. Like, that's what I personally prefer. If you guys do want to try to use a stipple grip tape or something like that, go ahead and try it out. My personal preference is to just run a 9-round mag, which actually decreases the aim down sight speed, which actually makes sense besides the tac laser because it's a little heavier of a magazine, so can't complain about that one there. But I do run the 9-round mags, I don't run a stipple grip tape, and I run sleight of hand, which I totally could get away with running focus on it instead, but I don't know, I just kind of prefer sleight of hand to get that extra reload in faster, especially when I don't have another sniper on my back. Going over to the SoaR 98K, I run tac laser. I don't really run a barrel on it because I don't really need that increased damage. Even though this gun is really, really weak, I personally prefer just running around it, trying to aim a little bit higher and getting the aim down sight speed up as quick as I possibly can. And even if you want to use something like a monolithic suppressor, which actually increases the damage range, it doesn't increase the damage, but it increases the damage at a range that you can get, and it also has a little suppressor for you, so you can stay hidden from the enemies and stuff like that. The SoaR 98K actually comes stock with an iron sight, so if you do get rid of this, obviously as you can see right there, it doesn't have the scope on it, so I got to go down and actually put the sniper scope on personally like that. And also, I don't really like this normal sniper scope. I don't mind it too much. It's definitely not bad, but what I usually rock with is the cross thread, and the one I've actually been messing with a lot recently is the cover shot. It's actually just like a little bit thinner of a cross thread, and I've really been liking this one. But like, you have all these, like this drop angle one is a lot of fun to use. Even the pinpoint is pretty good. It's all personal preference on what kind of scope you want to go for, though. A little scope reticle. F-Tac Sport Comb on the stock 4, so I can get that increased aim down sight speed. As always, stipple grip tape for that increased aim down sight speed, and sleight of hand to reload this gun faster, because when you put the sniper scope on it, it actually reloads it one by one bullet at a time, and you can't put any more extra ammo in it, so It only goes up to 5 rounds sadly in it, but if you do run other scopes on it though besides the sniper scope and the variable zoom scope, you can reload all 5 bullets at once, which then you don't even need sleight of hand at that point. I'd probably go for like focus or something like that personally, if I was gonna run a different optic on it and I was able to reload all at once. Anyway though, moving on to the HDR. For this weapon, I don't really see a need to throw a barrel on it, considering that this weapon is really strong and the aim down sight speed is super slow on it. So what I want personally is, again, that increased aim down sight speed to get your gun up as fast as possible, especially for this weapon though, because this weapon is tremendously slow. So as always, I'm going to be going for the tac laser, so I get that increased aim down sight speed. FTAC Stalker Scout, which is the aim down sight speed attachment for the HDR. I run the bipod because I don't actually have a 5th weapon slot to be able to put an attachment on for, so I might as well go with that. And then you're probably going to be confused on why I'm running a 9-round mag on this if it decreases the aim down sight speed, but honestly it's because like I could totally get away with a 7-round mag, and I can even get away with the 5-round mag, but when I'm using this gun only, I kind of prefer those extra bullets in it. So, and even with the 2 aim down sight speed attachments on it, it actually does increase it a decent amount. So, and then I usually go for sleight of hand on this, but at the same time I've tried to been rock with focus recently, and honestly it's all comes down to personal preference on which one you prefer to use, but that's just my personal preference for this weapon out here. Moving on to the MK2 carbine, I use the tac laser, the sniper scope, which honestly, like, all of these scopes can work, and I do mess around with all of these scopes. I mean, like, even the VLK scope for it and the GI mini reflex, like, every scope is a lot of fun to use, but I usually rock with either the sniper scope or the variable zoom scope, and I kind of prefer the sniper scope a little bit more, but it's all personal preference on which optic you would personally want to run on it. So moving on over to the stock, I got an MK2 Sport Comb stock on this weapon to get that increased aim down sight speed. Even though this weapon is super quick, I'd like to get that a little bit more extra aim down sight speed because this gun can be slow if you don't have those on it. Got the rear grip, which is the stipple grip tape, which is the normal thing I always run on it, as you know, and sleight of hand on this weapon as well because it reloads it one by one, just like the car does, except this one has 6 bullets instead of 5. And the thing that sucks is this gun reloads bullet by bullet no matter what optic you have on it. So although it is very quick, and even with sleight of hand it reloads really quickly, so I'm not going to complain about that at all. And then if you guys do care about the Dragunov, here it is. I don't even know what attachments are perfect for it. As you can see, I don't even have all 5 attachments on it. I mean, if you want to run a bipod like I said for the HDR, then feel free to do that, but like this one increases the aim down sight speed, the tac laser increases the aim down sight speed, and this does as well. And like I don't know exactly what to run on this, honestly. This is just what I run with personally. I can run an optic on it if I want to get a little bit more aim down sight speed. I mean, like if I want a VLK on it or something like that. But the thing with this gun is that it's completely different from the other weapons, because the other snipers have less aim assist than the normal guns in the game, like the normal assault rifles and SMGs, but there is aim assist on them still. This Dragunov does not have any aim assist on it whatsoever, so the no aim assist mixed with the slow aim down sight speed really does not mix well at all. So I really try to run the attachments on this weapon that increase that aim down sight speed just so I can have a little bit more fun with it. And then all my other classes are just like swap classes and stuff like that, so I can go for like a car to an AX50 if I want to, so I can have that close range car to the long range AX50 if I want to, and it's just like a lot of fun with it. And as you can tell on all my classes as well, I run cold-blooded, amped, thermite, stim shot, and specialist on every single one of them, and it's for good reasoning. I like to run cold-blooded in this game because the kill streaks in this game are actually really fucking hectic, so if you don't run cold-blooded, you are doing something seriously wrong. And amped, I definitely don't need to run on every single class. I definitely can get away with battle hardened, but I just feel like the faster weapon swap honestly is a lot better for me. So thermite grenades I run actually specifically because of riot shielders. If you stick a thermite to the riot shield, it can just keep on burning the person, and they actually can't get away from it at all. I don't even think there's a perk in the game that can help them out with that. It's perfect to kill those people that like camping behind a little shield of fucking glass. And then stim shot I run on it every single class because I like to be able to run and gun. Obviously I'm very aggressive, so being able to stim shot myself and get that extra health is really useful. And then to show off my settings, I run the tactical button layout, which basically compared to default it only changes. So circle, I'm on PS4, so circle is actually to punch people instead of to slide, and I use R3 to slide instead of circle, obviously, like I said. I rock 20/20 sensitivity on this game, and actually I didn't even start on 20/20. I actually was on like a 12/12, and I moved up to 14/14 eventually, and then later on I decided that I would just go to 20/20 because I can personally control it well. It's just like it really is super quick, so I'm just showing you guys my settings. Don't copy them if you don't think you can use them at all, but like just use what you're comfortable with at the end of the day. 1 times low zoom multiplier, 1.5 times high zoom multiplier, and actually when it comes down to the sniper rifle's optics, when you have the normal sniper scope on it, it actually goes with the high zoom sensitivity, and then if you look at VLK scope on it, it actually turns it down to the low zoom, so that's what you use the low zoom. The low zoom is more for like your assault rifles, SMGs, pistols, all that stuff, but it also counts it for if you're rocking a different optic on it compared to like a sniper scope, a thermal scope, like all of the higher multiplier zoom type of scope things that you run on a sniper rifle go in the high zoom category, and then everything else goes in low zoom. Aim response curve type I keep on standard. I honestly don't even really know the difference of it, and controller vibration I have disabled just because I feel like you're a weirdo if you run with vibration on. I can't use vibration personally. I don't know how people do it. I never liked it, probably never will. Maybe I'll give it another chance someday, but fucking it's not like I want a vibrator in my fucking hand at all times. I can go down to a sex shop if I wanted a vibrator at that point. Anyway though, aim assist I keep on standard. I don't know, I tried precision and focusing and all sorts of stuff like that. You could definitely experiment with these yourself. My colorblind, I'm not even colorblind, but the reason I have it on the I'm not even trying to fucking pronounce that because I'm totally gonna butcher it, but the one with the D in it, of course I'd like the one with the D in it, right? The reason I run this one is actually because it makes the kill feed stand out just a tad bit more. I can actually see the kill feed a little bit easier, and it actually helps out a ton. World motion blur and weapon motion blur I both keep disabled just because motion blur is kind of disgusting in this game, and you could definitely see your enemies a lot more. Like, let's say somebody was in that window right there in the picture that you see, you would be able to see them a lot more clearly in the left photo compared to the right photo, just because that motion blur is really going to blur them out. So I highly recommend turning motion blur off on this game if you can. I feel like all the audio stuff isn't really necessary, and account stuff obviously is not necessary. So that's it for this video. I think we made it to the end of the video. I don't know how this turned out, honestly. I hope I explained everything thoroughly. If not, I apologize. If you do have any questions, please leave them down in the comments below because I can try to help you out that way. And also, if you guys need a little bit more of an in-depth tutorial on it, I try to make it really quickly because I do get asked this question a lot, but somebody who actually put a lot of time and effort into a video like this is Sprat. So I'm gonna leave his video linked in the description if you guys do want to check that one out. But regardless, I had a lot of fun putting this together. I hope you guys enjoyed watching it. I will see you all in the next video, which would be a normal video again. Thank you all for watching till the end. If you did, I appreciate it a ton. Subscribe if you're new, drop a like if you enjoyed. I'll see you all later. Peace out.